Coach Corey Wayne, and this is my video coaching newsletter. And the topic of today's newsletter is going to be the balanced, centered, and successful man. I've got a really good success story that I want to share with you today, and this success story is actually from a guy who I started doing one-on-one personal coaching with him about 18 months ago. And I, of course, as a coach, and I'm not the type of person to blow sunshine up people's ass, I gave him the brass tacks of what was really going on and where he was falling down, what he was doing right, and what he needed to do differently. Like any good coach does, I gave him, and a really good friend when you think about it. I mean, your real true friends, they're going to tell you the way it is. They're not going to bullshit you. They're going to say, I love you, but you're fucking up. And in this particular case, that's what I did with this guy. I gave him a nice, swift kick in the ass, and 18 months later, he's completely turned his life around. He saved his marriage, and he's got a new job. His excitement for life is totally returned, and he's just really enjoying himself, and things are going where he wants them to go. And he also wants to become an entrepreneur. And what's great about the business that he is in, hey, the train's right on time. What's great about the business that he is getting into is that in his new job, he gets to decide what he's going to teach, what he's going to coach about, and what he's going to talk about. So he's going to get paid to, in essence, develop his business while he's working for somebody else. And so when the time comes for him to leave, it'll be a really easy, effortless, seamless transition. So I have a quote that I wrote in this topic, and then we'll go through his email. And the quote says, being successful in your romantic and personal life is mostly the result of an inner transformation. By becoming focused on creating an emotionally compelling vision for your life with equally emotionally compelling goals, you become focused on your life purpose and mission like a laser beam. What you focus on in life will expand. When you focus on becoming great at something you love for a living, your life takes on meaning, purpose, and value. When you feel like you are striving to become and are in the process of becoming what you were put on this earth to do, you will feel like you have a great reason for living and playing full out. This makes you happy and causes others to notice your happiness and satisfaction with life. The most attractive people are people who have come alive on the inside with a burning desire to be what they can be. In a world where most people major in minor things and settle for a life that is less than what they are capable of living, this makes you stand out as a precious, rare, and valuable person. Everyone loves a winner, not a whiner. So let's go through his email. He says, hi, Coach. Hopefully this email finds you doing awesome. Well, of course. I just wanted to fire off a quick update on all the success I have been experiencing since I started to practice your work. We had a coaching session about 18 months ago, and during that time, you challenged me to be better and to rise to the level of advice you were giving. I did just that, and wow, it really paid off. At the time, everything was going poorly. My marriage, my job, my career, a lack of mission, etc. Since then, everything has turned around. You know, what's interesting that it's like people that first find out about me, they're trying to, 90% of them are trying to fix a relationship or trying to get somebody back they screwed up with or chased away. And when they really get into it, what they realize, it's not so much about a pickup line or so much what you say or what you do. It's really about an inner personal transformation. It's about taking care of you. It's about becoming a person of value, a person who loves his life, a person who has a goal, a mission, a purpose, knowing what you want, and most importantly, why do you want it? In other words, you have to have emotionally compelling reasons why you want something. Because without those reasons, as soon as you start running into challenges or obstacles, you'll just quit and you'll give up. And you'll never get close to ever reaching your full potential, which unfortunately, that's what most people in this world are going to experience. Hence the name of my book, 3% Man. Just like I talk about in the book. 3% of the world's men and women make all the money. They have all the cool toys, the houses, the cars, everything everybody typically wants. They date the most beautiful people. They have the exciting, compelling lives that everybody says, oh, and when you look at a celebrity or somebody that's rich and famous, it's what people look at. They look at the things and the stuff that they have. They don't really look behind, well, how did they get those things and that stuff? It's not a fucking accident. It all is because they're executing a plan and they have a passion for what they're doing, and they've practiced and rehearsed it over and over and over enough to the point where they become really good at it and really proficient at it. And therefore, when you become good at anything or great at anything in life, other people can't help but notice you. When you become a superstar employee, other people hear about you. Other people find out about you. Recruiters start contacting you and offering you positions with other companies where you get more responsibility, more money, more perks, and your career just continues to grow from there. That's why it's not about getting a government handout or somebody giving you a raise. What are you doing to personally become a more valuable employee or business owner to where you can charge more for your services? The more you can do, the more value you can add, the higher your compensation is going to become. Because if you rely on the government to give you a fucking handout or to spoon feed you, you're always going to be sucking on somebody else's tit, if you will, metaphorically, the rest of your life. It feels a hell of a lot better to have your own choices, to be able to become self-reliant, to be able to make your life any way you want it without depending upon other people or some kind of handout or somebody doing something for you. Because when you depend on other people, you completely give your fucking power away to shape and transform your destiny. And that's just the way it is. One of the things I heard from Wayne Dyer I thought was great. I can't remember who the person was that he heard it from, but what he said was, self-actualizing people must be what they can be. Self-actualizing, another word for self-reliance. In other words, people who have a vision or who create a vision or who dream of a vision and say, I have to make this happen. I have to make this a reality. That's what a self-actualizing person is. That's what I do. I teach self-reliance. I'm a life coach. I teach people how to reach their full potential. I'm not here to tell you how long you need to be in your relationships or the kind of people that you date. I'm here to give you the skills so you can attract the kind of people that you want into your life, so you can attract a really great job or create a really great business, because it really depends on you and what you happen to do with that. Because when you look at society, everybody's trying to imprint their ideas of what people should be, and most people are trying to fit in that little box. And statistically, it just doesn't fucking work out. It's unrealistic. There's different strokes for different folks. There's 7.5 billion people on this planet. No two people are exactly alike. And we all have different goals, different needs, different wants, different things that we're interested in, that we're curious about. And that's by divine design. I mean, because think about it. Not everybody is going to want to be an artist or a painter or a builder or an architect or a teacher or a politician or a CEO or an employee or a laborer or somebody that works in a factory, whatever it happens to be. And the more the people in our world get focused on doing things that are exciting and compelling and fun to the point where they love it, to where it just doesn't feel like work, everything's going to be better. Everywhere you go will eventually become better. I mean, if you look over like the last 100 years, like right now, one of the books I'm reading is Andrew Carnegie's autobiography. I mean, this guy was born in the early 1800s. It's just interesting reading him talking about when he was a little boy. He worked for the telegram service. And what they did was the telegram came in and they would grab the message and then they would take it and deliver it to people in the town. The quicker they got it delivered to them, the better they were off. Sometimes they get a tip. Sometimes they get a little bit of a bonus. And it's like they were making like $1.80 a month. It's like, this is like 1850. And and by the 1900s, when he was obviously older, he was, I think, was like the third richest person in the world. It's just amazing when you read about that story and how he came from over in Scotland, and it's just fascinating to read about that, because wisdom that people like that who were at in their lives and their time frame that they lived, they were the most successful, wealthy people in the world. And it's like when you study other successful people and why they get there and why they do what they do and how they do it, you see the same patterns over and over and over again. It's like what Tony Robbins says, success leaves clues. And it's really exciting to see that because it gives you more positive reinforcement. He says, first of all, I now feel amazing about life and where I am going. I followed your advice and I redefined my mission and purpose. It has caused me to reignite as a man, and my excitement and passion for life returned. He got totally focused on his mission and his purpose in life, something that was compelling to him. What's compelling to me might be different for you and the next person, and that's okay. It's supposed to be that way. The idea is not to be a second-rate version of somebody else, but to be a first-rate version of yourself. Not only was I able to secure a job building a leadership development program for a global pharmaceutical company, flying all over the country and Europe, teaching, speaking, coaching, etc., but I am also in the process of launching my own company, writing a book, speaking, teaching, coaching, etc. Dude, just copy my business model. If you're not, I'm personally not a writer, and like when I wrote the first edition of my book, I had a ghostwriter write that for me. We had a discussion and a conversation. I wrote an outline and I told her my story. She recorded it, and she turned that into what became the first edition of the book. Now the second edition, I did all the editing on that myself, and I had an editor proofread and everything. And even though I had an editor proofread it, and she went through it 2 or 3 times, and I went through it, I must have gone through it 4 or 5 times. I finished recording the audiobook version. It's like every time I go through it, I find mistakes. It's just the way it is. And over time, as I release later editions, I'll find those mistakes and I'll fix them, and the book will continue to evolve. But if you're looking to hire somebody, like find a ghostwriter, a good place to find it is guru.com, guru.com. Make an outline of what you want to talk about in your book. Have the ghostwriter sit down with you and record the conversation. Give him or her the outline and let them write the fucking book. I mean, I'm not a writer. I mean, I'm an engineer by trade. I'm a builder. I take things apart. I look at things. I analyze them. I figure out what makes it work, what doesn't work. I put it back together. I've been taking things apart and putting them together since I was a kid. And that's one of my gifts. That's one of my skills. That's one of my talents. I was born into this world that way, to be curious about those things. And that, without realizing at the time, those are that focus and that ability and that natural talent that I developed is what eventually led me to becoming a coach. And if you had told me 20 years ago I'd be doing what I'm doing now, I was like, really? I would have never considered that in a million years. But when I look back at my life, it was just everything lined up perfectly. I consider this business as my contribution to the world, and it has me totally jacked. So it's like once you write the book, you can upload it to Amazon, you can upload it to iTunes, you can publish it print on demand. There's lulu.com also. There's CreateSpace, which is Amazon's book company. Get yourself a YouTube channel, get yourself a background like what I got. Usually you can get those for $300 to $400 from a good company. Get a nice logo, something professional, get yourself a good camera, good microphone. Start uploading videos. Start answering emails instead of trying to guess what your audience wants. And start answering their emails. That's what I wrote articles for 2 or 3 years before I ever got around to doing my first video. Writing, blogging, just copy my website. Copy the way, obviously don't copy it, but copy the model, the way it's set up, the layout of it. Because it works. You can see that it works. It's for those of you may be a real estate agent, or you could be a lawyer, you could be a coach, or a teacher, or a mystery writer. Just copy my fucking business model. And it's going to take you at least 4 to 5 years to really get it to a decent place where it's starting to take off and make you money. But like anything, if you're going to become successful at anything, a minimum, you got to assume that it's going to take you a decade to get to where you want to be. My height in real estate was about 2003 was when I had my best year. I started on that journey when I was 18 years old. So if you think about it, from the time I was 33 to 18, was that 15 years? I mean, it was a 15-year journey to hit my peak in that business. And you got to think in terms of every successful person, whether it's Steve Jobs or George Lucas or anybody that's really done amazing things in their field, when you really get into it and you look into their story and their biography, a minimum of a decade. And if you're going to spend at least 10 years to become proficient at it and earn a decent living from it, you have to choose something that's exciting and compelling. Because if you're sitting there and you're taking a degree in something that you don't really enjoy and you don't have a passion for, but you're doing it because you think it's going to make you a bunch of money, when you get classes that are really hard, you're like, you're not really into it. And you'll just quit and you'll give up, you'll drop out, you'll torpedo your grades. It's just a bad way to go. The best thing to do is to focus on things you're passionate about and you enjoy. But again, a decade. You got to think in terms of that. I can't stress that enough. It's so important because most people, especially in this world where everything's instant gratification, quick fix for this, quick fix for that. And then when you tell people, oh, it's going to take you 10 years, like, oh, I don't have time for that. I don't have time. Well, you're going to be somewhere in 10 years. Doesn't it make sense to start working towards where you want to be in 10 years? Because otherwise, I mean, it's like planes don't take off from airports without having a flight plan filed and knowing where they're going to go. I mean, think about it. The cool thing is that what I do in the workplace is allowing me to test drive much of what I want to do in my business, as I have almost complete control of the content I develop and teach. Therefore, I have the best of both worlds. Yeah, you can refine your business and what you're going to do while you're getting paid to do it for somebody else. I mean, it's beautiful. One of the things that made us really successful when we went into real estate, because we were in the buy, fix, and sell business, me and my partners, was we went to work, all of us ended up going to work for this company, and I hung my real estate license there that we were buying our foreclosure properties from. And then we got to learn all the ins and outs of the business. I mean, those guys have been in business for 7, 8 years. They'd made all the mistakes. They'd done all the hard things. So we went from earning 33% commission on our deals to earning 100%. We went from doing it successfully for them to doing it successfully for ourselves. I mean, our first month in business, we made a $60,000 profit. Pretty damn good. But we learned on other people's dime. We learned from all the mistakes that they had made, and that's the benefit of working for other people. You learn all the mistakes, and you can do all the fuck-ups on their dime. And then when you start your own business, you can have your clientele, everybody all lined up, and just be a nice, seamless, easy, effortless transition. Most people don't see all the work that's behind all that. They don't, when you look at somebody like a professional basketball player, they don't see the thousands and thousands of hours or the tens of thousands of shots that they've taken in their career, and that they continue to take every single day. My marriage did a 180. It was a wreck because I was not showing up as a man. My wife, who is a total hottie and gets hit on all the time, is back in her feminine energy since I have returned to my masculine. Our relationship is great, and it has flowed over to our kids. That's fucking awesome, because now your kids have something healthy and successful to emulate. And they won't go through all the mistakes that you had to go through to learn this stuff. As my relationship with them has become amazing and we do more and more as a family. That's really fucking awesome, dude. I'm so happy for you. And you know what? You're a fucking great dad because you're doing that. Because you took care of yourself. You're a great father. You're a great husband. All around great dude. My workouts and daily self-development activities have also become fun and impactful again. Yeah, the happier you are, the more likely you're going to want to take better care of your body. You're going to eat better quality foods. You're going to move more. You're going to exercise more because you're happier. The more miserable you are and the more difficult and full of challenges life is, the less inclined you're going to be to go work out. If you hate your job, you hate your life, you hate the person that you're with, you hate your group of friends, what's your motivation to work out and take care of yourself or to eat right? It's like, why? You don't care. You're not happy. What's the fucking point? And unfortunately, that's where most people are in life. And that's the way they'll always be. And it's sad, but little by little, inch by inch, millimeter by millimeter, together we're all helping to make the world a better place. And my social life has also exploded. The most amazing thing is that now I get tons of attention from the ladies. When my marriage was going under, I tried to get it, but it never worked. Now they come to me even though I'm married, and the women whose attention I was trying to get while things were on the rocks with my wife are now chasing me. A whole new set of challenges, lol. Dude, don't fuck around on your wife now. Be fucking faithful. It's not honorable to cheat. Because remember, your kids are just going to emulate everything you do, dude. The bottom line is that it didn't have anything to do with what was going on outside of me and had everything to do with what was going on inside of me. It's all inner game. Once I rediscovered my purpose, gained my emotional center, and put 100% commitment into getting myself fixed, everything else fell into place. I could go on as there are numerous topics that you teach that I applied and still apply, which make all the difference. I know that you state that you have to read your book 10 to 15 times, and I don't think that is enough. How many times have you heard me say in videos the best success stories come from guys that read the book 10 to 15 times? Those are the guys that are serious. And I always bust the balls of people that don't read the book. I had a phone session yesterday with a guy who's been following me for a better part of a year now. He's read the book once, and he's still struggling. I'm like, and I point that out. I was like, how many times have you heard me say the best success stories come from people that read the book 10 to 15 times? Like, I know. You know, if you've ever played any kind of sports, coaches are brutally fucking honest. Why? Because masculine energy grows through challenge. If you've ever listened to practices like NFL practices, the coaches are constantly dropping F-bombs and they're constantly tweaking their players and the balls and challenging them to be better. It's the type of thing when someone says, oh, so you can't do it? What's the matter, princess? Are you afraid to hit him? When you say that to a man who has a lot of pride in himself and takes pride in what he is, like, I'll fucking show you. I can do it, coach. And that's what they do. Feminine energy grows through praise. For me, I've tried to become a student of your work. That means reading and rereading your book. I'm on my second copy because I wore the first one out. I mean, is it any wonder why this guy's so successful? He did it. He immersed himself. He bought in. He played full out. He's been busting his ass, and he's reaping the rewards. It's not a mystery. Success leaves clues, like Tony Robbins says. It also means to not only watch your videos, but to take notes and then go back and study those notes to the point where I am able to pull the information automatically, trying to hit unconscious competence. Somebody's definitely been paying attention. This is what I believe has helped me more than anything. So you are right about repetition, but I don't need to tell you that. Repetition is a mother of skill. There's another thing I learned from Tony Robbins. At any rate, I can never thank you enough for all the wisdom, counsel, and information you provide. It has changed my life for the better, and I am very grateful. If I can ever be of help in any way, please don't hesitate to contact me. Tell everyone you know. That's the best compliment that you can give me. If you find value in what I do, tell everyone you know. Doesn't mean you have to like me, but if you apply the things that I teach, they will fucking work for you. Many, many, many thanks. You helped me find the life I always wanted, and things just keep getting better. Keep killing it. Dude, thanks for the great success story. It's awesome. And you're a leader. You're not only a leader in your family and to your children and to your wife, but also in your community. And by transforming yourself every time somebody sees you speak, you're going to be transforming lives in your audience in ways that you can't even fathom and you won't even realize. It's like for me, most of the people I help, I'll never hear from them. I'll never know how I impacted their lives unless, of course, I run into them on the street. And I run into people all the time now that tell me how my work has changed their life, and that's wonderful. It really is positive reinforcement. Whether you're an artist or a painter or a realtor or a lawyer or a teacher or a CEO or just a laborer who loves building things. As long as you love what you're doing, people can see value in your work and they'll appreciate you for it. And that's awesome. That's the best positive reinforcement to put up with all the assholes and the haters and the nasty emails and comments that we see coming through my email and on my YouTube channel. But the more it's like I did a video a couple months ago. Success breeds haters. The more successful you become, you're going to have to deal with that. But at the end of the day, those are people that are weak and not sure of themselves, and they attack you because they're trying to see what you're made of, because they don't have enough faith and confidence in themselves. So if they try to tweak your balls and they can't diminish you, then they go, wow, maybe I really should listen to what this person has to say. It's definitely something to think about. So if you'd like to get my help personally and to do some one-on-one coaching, maybe to figure out your purpose and your mission in life, go to my website, click the products tab, and book whichever coaching option works for you. And if you haven't started reading my book, go to my website, click the ebook option at the bottom. We got a toolbar at the bottom of the page on my website. You can read it for free on my website. So my best information is for free. You don't have to go to expensive seminars or buy expensive books or expensive programs. It's all out there. And once you see the value in it, and once you see that I really know what the hell I'm talking about, then buy a copy of it. Then download it in iTunes version of it, or the Kindle version, or go buy yourself a paperback version. And I will talk to you soon.